Good morning, hams, SWLs, and YouTubers coming via Equalink Repeater and YouTube. This is my third presentation on Pune Ham and second presentation of digital. Last time you saw how we can start digital using Peanut software. We had good response. Hams have had a good PSO on Peanut. Today I am going to discuss various mode of digital for voice, data, etc. So let me start my slide without any further delay. Okay, so history of digital. The amateur radio digital modes have been in use for decades as as continue to evolve. The latest digital text-based modes are so advanced they enable communications over frequencies where even CW is unintelligible. Likewise, digital voice modes provide crystal clear communication across the entire range of usable signal level. Morse code is called the original digital mode. Radio telegraphy, designed for machine to machine communication, is the direct on off keying of a continuous wave carrier by Morse code symbols, often called amplitude shift keying or ASK, may be considered to be an amplitude modulated mode of communication and is rightfully considered the first digital mode. So we are going to see on our slide on the analog voice, digital voice, image, text and data. Activities known as modes. Certain activities in amateur radio are also commonly referred to as modes, even though no one specific modulation scheme is used. Automatic link establishment, ALE, is a method of automatically finding a sustainable communications channel on HF. Automatically controlled digital station, ACDS. Earth Moon Earth EME uses the moon to communicate over long distances. Equalink connects amateur and amateur station via the internet. The Internet Radio Linking Project IRLP connects repeaters via internet. Oscar, satellite Oscar, orbiting satellite carrying amateur radio. Low transmitter power, QRP. Packets. So what is packet? We'll discuss this now. Without going knee deep into technical jargon, packet is simply a form of computer networking that uses a radio link rather than wires. CompuServe, Prodigy, Jenny, and other large database systems are good example of hardwired computer network. These systems communicate with the subscriber by sending information in small bundles of data or packets. It is packed in and is received without error. An acknowledgement within bracket and ACK is a short form is sent to the originating computer and the net packet is transmitted. If an error occurs, the receiving computer rejects and packet wait for repeat. The data exchange protocol used in many such systems is known as X25. In the event of early 80s computer introduction, amateur packet pioneers appropriated the X25 protocol and quickly adapted it for amateur radio use. The result was called AX25, that is amateur X25. The computer still sent their information in packet bundles, but now network was wireless, connected by radio through smart interfacing devices known as terminal mode controllers or TMCs. Birth of RTTY. The birth of RTTY, the beginning of radio teletype RTTY, that is a short form, date back to World War II when the military began connecting mechanical teletype machines to HF radio. At first, they attempted to use simple on-off keying as a means of sending text, but the results were poor. After some further experimentation, the designer soon switched to frequency shift keying, that is FSK. This scheme did the trick and RTT was born. RTT is one of the most popular digital communication modes on the amateur HF bands. Its error correcting cousin, AMTOR, is steadily gaining ground, but RTT was a special advantage. Almost any SSB transceiver, no matter how old, can be used for RTTY. With the data terminal or computer on the RTTY modem or multimode communication process called MCP, you will be up and running in no time. RTT QSO are loose and friendly, not quote whether here is 9.5 etc. Variety opportunities for DX bound too. Some common digital modes I have tabulated into originally analog and developed for PC. So let me go originally analog, RTTY, SSTV, fax, and LScriber. Developed for PC, PSK31, JT65, FSK441, and Whisper, a weak signal propagation reporter. A brief of all this thing I am explaining. Modulation designed for different needs. PSK31, a very narrow bandwidth, slow character specs, effective with a low signal strength. Then JT65, used for common bounds and extremely weak signal. Each character is a single tone about 5 Hz apart. Very slow. Each character takes half second. Time sync, station clock must be very accurate. Error correction. FSK141, used for Meteor scatter. High speed, exchange is 1/3 second. Lots of Doppler shift. WSJTX, which is presently combining many format. So I'm listing it out here. The WSJTX implements communication protocol or modes called FT4, FT8, JT4, JT9, JT65, QRA64, ISCAT, MSK144, and Whisper, as well as one called ECHO for detecting and measuring your own radio signals reflected from the moon. These modes were all designed for making reliable conformed QSOs under extreme weak signal conditions. These are the few things which some I have done, some I have not done. But the later part of it is the interesting on the voice, which we are going to discuss today. What is digital voice? Okay. Digital data modulating an RF carrier. The data is digitized audio from the AD converter, that is analog to digital converter. It is processed through a vocoder to compress the data and add forward error correction. This vocoder presently we have a AMBI plus and AMBI plus 2. These are all the latest one. The data is sent serially to uniform length packet. Header data is pre-fed to provide sync bits, routing instruction, and user identity. Other data is often interleaved or substituted for the voice to send text, picture, or other files. The primary VHF, UHF digital voice mode is in use. First, D-Star. D-Star was developed in the late 90s by the Japanese Amateur Radio League. Is an open standard created specifically for amateur radio. ICOM is one manufacturer adopting D-Star According to maybe it's a more repeater, roughly 1,700 repeater established in the USA for D-Star. DMR, digital mobile radio, is an open standard developed in Europe and is used in commercial products worldwide. Motorola implementation of the standard Motor is about 1,500 DMR repeaters in USA. Fusion, System Fusion C4FM is the newest digital mode and was designed by Yaesu, who is the only manufacturer using this mode. Some Yaesu repeaters support both analog within bracket FM and digital, that is fusion modes. About 1,700 repeaters in USA compared to D-Star DMR. NXDN is an open standard intended for commercial mobile communications developed jointly by ICOM and Kenwood. It is implemented by ICOM and IDAS and by Kenwood as a next edge. So this is also a recent one with about 100 NXDN repeaters in USA. Typical DMR function. It has dual mode, ensure a smooth transition from analog to digital with a dual mode functionality. Text messaging functionality with a touch feather for pre-programmed text message and voice calls. Safety features, stay safe at all times with a lone worker, man down emergency alarm and GPS positioning. Noise cancelling. Be heard anywhere with a background noise cancellation, ensuring clarity wherever you go. DMR, a new mode of amateur digital radio, spectrum efficient, supported by multiple manufacturers, automatic roaming for safe driving, longer battery life, resilient network, no server needed at sites. Most of the manufacturers give 3 years warranties for any new purchases. These are the D-Star DMR Fusion, how they transmit the voice and data bit. My next slide will be slightly better to understand, so I'll move into that. Then you can go into detail this area. Here, bandwidth comparison. If you see D-Star, the 12.5 is divided into two portions, 6.25 kilohertz. And in DMR, it goes in one lot of 12.5, but slot 1, slot 2, like that. Okay. And Fusion, it transmits as a whole lot, 12.5. So this is the basic difference between the transmission bandwidth comparison between D-Star, DMR, and Fusion. Okay, so technical specification comparison. I'm comparing D-Star, DMR, and Fusion. Vcoder, the AMBI plus, AMBI for D-Star, and DMR is support AMBI 2, and Fusion also support AMBI 2. AMBI 2 is the latest version, and AMBI 1 is also fairly latest one, but D-Star is working on something to improve on that. Forward error correction for D-Star voice only, DMR voice only, Fusion voice only. Then modulation, GMSK, which is Gaussian minimum shift keying, that is 4 FSK, which means 4 level frequency shift keying, C4FM. This is a continuous 4 level frequency modulation. Multiplex method, FDMA, which is for D-Star, frequency division multiple access, and DMR supports TDMA, the time division multiple access, and Fusion FDMA, frequency division multiple access. Transmission rate is 4.8 kbps for D-Star, 4.8 kbps into 2 times DMR, and Fusion 12.5 kilohertz. We saw the previous slide. On that basis they have given. Channel supported, and D-Star only 1 channel, DMR 2 channels, and Fusion one channel. Standard developer JAL for the D star, and DMR it's C, and Fusion is ASU. So user identification, how we see in the unit for D star, DMR and Fusion. Registration required for D star, yes. DMR, yes. Fusion, yes. And user identity, call sign for D star, D star, and DMR subscriber ID, and Fusion call sign. Other text display options for D star 4 character and 20 characters. DMR no, Fusion no. Adequate FCC ID, D star yes, DMR no, Fusion no, Fusion yes. So call sign displayed if the receiving station subscriber ID is radio contact list. So if there are now set comes with a 1 lakh contacts to be stored, etc. So you can download from the code all the repeaters available and the contacts available. So you can really pick up the details to show reflected in the unit. Repeater connectability, D star, DMR and Fusion. Talk locally, yes. DMR, yes. Fusion, yes. Link to another repeater, yes for D star, no for DMR. Fusion, no. Multi-repeater connection. D star reflectors, yes. DMR talk groups. Fusion WireX rooms, The selection method, D star UR entry and DMR channel dial. Fusion is a room name. Route to another ham, yes for D star. DMR no, Fusion no. So basically you can route from D star to DMR. Some repeaters give that provision. That is what we are talking here. So only D star provides. The rest of the DMR, Fusion doesn't do that. Echo test, yes for D star, DMR yes, and Fusion no. And request link status, D star is yes and DMR is no and Fusion is no. Radio operating features, D star, DMR and Fusion. Memory selection, dial or GPS search. DMR key press, Fusion dial. Then repeater connection selection, D star dial, DMR dial, Fusion key press. Then radio programming complexity, it's a difficult and easy. This is for D star. Older D star radios are more difficult to program, but new ones are pre-programmed when you buy from the factory. Its update of repeaters are already loaded into the set. DMR, it is difficult. Fusion, easy. Newbie learning curve for D star steep. DMR fairly easy. Fusion fairly easy. User manual pages, older HT 131 IC91 model. Press the DMR is 65 CS700 and Fusion 247 FT1DR. There is a user manual pages newer HT 425 ID51 for D star. DMR nothing. Fusion, there is a 340 FT2DR. Now FT3 also come in the market with the color and little bit of changes compared to 2. Signal readability. Voice naturalness for FM is good. D star is good. DMR is good. Fusion is narrow band, it's good, and the wide is very good. Signal noise, FM varies, D star none, DMR none, Fusion none. Sync robustness, FM not applicable, D star fair, DMR good, Fusion good. Sync recoverability, the FM NA, D star poor, DMR best, and Fusion best. The note, Fusion has two bandwidth voice mode, wide and narrow. Sync robustness is the tendency to fall out of sync. That is what they are talking. Sync recoverability is the ability to recover sync quickly. The options shown here are highly subjective. Your opinion may differ. Networking characteristics. D-star, user control capability, substantial. Networking options, G2, G+, IRC, DDB. Innovation ability, many efforts and accomplishment. Then DMR, currently control structure, inflexible. Networking options, C-bridge and Hytera. DMR, innovation ability, limited but not impossible. Fusion, Yaesu controlled servers, inflexible. Networking option, Wirex. Innovation ability, limited, but hands are just getting started. So now this is the most interesting part of the slides. You pay attention to this. I have introduced you Peanut, where you don't need anything, just a PC, a bandwidth of internet, and just download the software and configure. There are preconditions like you get your DMR number, D-star number, and a code from the Peanut server that will allow you to get into it. So you can just do the QoS without spending money. But that system, Peanut system, is basically like any other VoIP. You are getting into server, local server. Server, whoever is logged in, you can talk to them one-to-one or one-to-several. But some chat rooms are also giving a way for connecting to outside the world, DMR, D-star, etc. Now we are talking here a DV Megastick, which is embedded with a vCoder I mentioned to you too, and a ThumbDV. This is also embedded with a vCoder, which is required because it uses the PC for churning of the data, etc. But the conversion of the voice to digital mode is converted by this USB dongle. Okay, so it is a fantastic and the clarity with error correction, and you can go directly talk to any part of the world who are coming through a direct reflector or a repeater using a RF radio or any of the other modes. So this stick is it costs something very close to about 120 euro plus shipping. Nowadays they charge about $60 to $70. So this is I'm explaining you in my next slide how to connect it. So this software, BlueDV, is the software. The inventor and the person who has coded this is the same as Peanut. So he knows the job, what has to be done. So along with the ThumbDV and DV Mega, with the support of BlueDV software, it supports Windows, Windows 10. I'm not backward compatibility, I'm not sure about it, but 10 it definitely supports. Then it also supports Android. Okay, everybody has Android. You need only a OTG cable, then connect this USB dongle, then you can run this software and talk to QoS with any part of the world directly. Okay, so Peanut, as I told you, this is via server, their local server, but this will be a direct contact with the DMR, D-star through any part of the world. So apart from that, previous to these two dongles, there were people who were communicating for the last couple of years using dongles and hotspots. Hotspot is nothing, but it's a in between a local RF mobile phone which we held, and this one hotspot connects the RF. Then it further connects via this hotspot to internet, to reflectors and repeaters. So it is an in-between kind of a hotspot which connects the two links. One is the outside world to DMR, D-star, Fusion, etc. and here too your RF, which you are tuning to particular band. So there is a DV dongle, DV mega, VHF UHF. I written it wrong. VHF UHF. You have a board singly for VHF also, singly for UHF, or dual also. You have three boards like that. Raspberry Pi. Most of these software will we need a Pi Star. There is a software which support Raspberry Pi with a hat like this. And DV access point dangle, it has got a small RF built into this. So you can communicate with your hand phone. This will further communicate with the internet. Okay. Arduino Mega, also with AMBI 3000 board, you can connect as a hotspot. BlueStack Micro with DV Mega VHF or UHF, you can connect to outside world. So all this thing supports via BlueDV. You know, you use the same software called BlueDV for Windows or Android, and you can connect via using this hotspot to communicate. You know, that is the very easy portion of it. I have given a combination of both. Okay, these two combinations. There is a company recently mean couple of years back, they came with this blue first generation hotspot, which was bulky, slightly bigger, and with RF, everything visible. It needed a outside power supply, etc. So I'll just give you detail. OpenSpot, the 2 and 3, which came later after the first generation, which is a second and third generation, is a conduit between the radio, handy, and Wi-Fi and internet. It connects to any reflectors or repeaters, any part of the world, and locally it establishes with a built-in radio to connect for voice. It has a built-in vocoder and establishes connection with the DMR, D-Star Fusion system Fusion, NXDN, P25 POS-SAG. We do not require bulky hotspot seen in the previous slide. OpenSpot 3 has a built-in rechargeable battery. This is the one, the 3, okay. And a cross-bridge connectivity. Cross-bridge means from it can give connection from Fusion to D-Star to DMR, DMR to Fusion, like that, cross-connecting capability. Okay, so connectivity. OpenSpot 2 needs external power supply. This is the smaller one, is the 2. And first generation is already shell, but it is still working fine with many who bought this few years back. Okay, the advantage of this unit is very small. You can use your mobile phone when you go out as a hotspot for internet connectivity, and this will connect to your RF radio. Okay, so you don't have to carry too many things. Just take OpenSpot 3 and your hand phone and this mobile for internet connectivity, whichever way it comes in. So, but only disadvantage what I have found is this is a private party supply. It is not open source. So every time nothing like first generation, second, 3, within 5 years there are 3 generation has come. So you need a better feature, you have to go to 3, so spend another $300. So it is not a right thing. But the previous one hotspot I showed you, it can have a Pi Star. There is a software which goes with the hotspot, and you don't have to change the hardware. Every time there is any change in the firmware, you can Pi Star, it gets automatically connected to the server and get updated. So that is also a very good system. So you can consider whichever is the best for you. I've given a small diagram showing you the Shark RF, how this is connecting. You need a person is having mobile handy, he is connecting to you via internet, going to this OpenSpot 2 or 3, which in turn connects to internet. So this will via this person using through hotspot, he can connect directly to internet, or he can go via repeater and connect to this and connect via here. So this multiple connectability is available. So have a clean, see the diagram. You may be able to discuss or compare with the next diagram. Here, digital mode voice connectivity. I was talking about this dongle, the DV Mega Thumb DV is called Thumb DV. Thumb DV USB dongle connected to running Blue DV software. So it's a PC running this software. So that's what you require, nothing more than internet connectivity. Digital mode voice connectivity. We can connect to DMR, D-Star and Fusion using USB dongle and Windows PC or Android using a OTG cable and running a Blue DV software. No radio, no antenna is required. It connects using internet and USB embedded with a vCoder for conversion. Here we do not require radio or any hotspot. Only PC running Windows and dongle and software for DMR, D-Star and Fusion. This presently, this software only supporting DMR, D-Star and Fusion. But the author is working to improve some more. Okay, so you will see that a lot of updates coming in near future. This is the diagram using Thumb DV or DV Mega Stick 30. One can have QSO on DMR, D-Star using Blue DV software for Windows. So here is the one PC with Thumb DV connecting using the same Blue DV software. The receiving end also has a Blue DV software and a same dongle. So from dongle to dongle using a Blue DV, he is able to connect to any DMR, D-Star or Fusion system. The generation 1 board, it was looking so big. If you look at it, it has got all the Ethernet transformer, Ethernet transceiver, RF CPU, then microcontroller, then main CPU and main CPU, etc. So in one board has the digital to analog converter, then a small transceiver up to 1 milliwatt or something close by you can connect to the system. So now the same board is reduced to the smaller size, generation 2 and 3. So a lot of work has been done by this Shark RF to do this. I'm sure they will still bring it much more smaller, and everybody will be keen to know the components what you saw in the previous, where I can get these components if you are interested. So I have given a link of their website for OpenSpot 2 and 3, Shark RF and this gigaparts .com, which is in the US. If you have a shipment problem, you can get it via US using this gigaparts. Check the price. And DV Mega Stick 30 and DV Mega VHF UHF board, BlueStack micro Android boards, etc. There is a this is the company DV Mega NL, the producer of this DV Mega Stick. And there are several agents. One of the agent who stocks, this is the address. So yes, almost all the boards what I have discussed here. I am no way connected with these people. Just a reference only I am giving to you. Just check before buying whether they can ship using a DHL or FedEx within 2 or 3 days. If no guarantee, then wait till international flight commences. This problem will exist. This will deduct money. They will deduct money from PayPal and commission, tax, etc. Okay, so just be aware of that. That's the end of my presentation. Hope within a short given time, I'm able to give you the maximum information. My email is in the circular. Please, if you have any thing to check up, my mobile number, email is there. You are welcome to do that. I will return back to Mangesh for further connecting to the respective person for question answer, etc. Over to you, Mangesh.
Yeah, thank you, Balaji. It was a wonderful presentation there. We'll wait for some time so that the YouTube stream get